Okay, let's do the Sheriiff's Blotter tonight. And here's the bubble gum I'm chewing tonight, by the way. Bubble gum. I have a ton of different Sheriiff's Blotters for tonight. So that should be fun. We could fall asleep really fast, I'm sure. A reminder, if you have an iPhone, you can use your night shift so your device won't be so bright. So you can lower down your contrast and your brightness. You can relax easier. It's not so bright. And your brain will thank you for it. Okay. What do I have on me? Well, let's get started here. A man, age 46, was arrested on a misdemeanor warrant at the intersection of such and such. An unidentified woman entered Walmart on the Main Street Boulevard. Oh my goodness, that's my Walmart. With her children and stole $1,000 in item merchandise. How do you do that? That's a lot of stuff. A 45-year-old man was arrested on a local misdemeanor warrant at the intersection of such and such. A woman, age 21, was cited for contributing to the delinquency of a minor in the 1600 block of such and such. Next, some people claiming to be police officers entered a hotel room in the 900 block of the boulevard and stole $1,000 in cash and a cell phone. How do people do that? I can't believe it. People do. Next, up to $1,000 in merchandise was stolen from Tommy Hilfiger in the outlet mall. Next, out the right rear window of a van was smashed and the windshield was shot several times in the 1900 block of such and such. Are you kidding me? Shot? Next, a 31-year-old man was arrested on 3 outstanding warrants in the 900 block of such and such. Up to $1,000 in merchandise was stolen from such and such store on the boulevard. Next, a man, age 57, was arrested on an outstanding warrant at the Park and Ride lot on Freeway which valued up to $1,000, was stolen. The 500 block of such and such a place. Next, about $700 in property was stolen from a shed in the 1,000 block of such and such. A woman, age 18, was arrested for shoplifting on the Main Street Boulevard. Next, a 47-year-old woman was arrested for elder abuse, vandalism, assault, battery in the 2,000 block of such and such. Next, a 31-year-old woman was arrested for leaving the scene of an accident in the 700 block of the Main Street Boulevard. A man, age 22, was arrested, outstanding warrant, 1800 block of such and such. Next, a 25-year-old man was arrested for domestic battery and for punching, and for providing false ID to a police officer in the 200 block of Main Street Boulevard. Next, more than $1,000 in merchandise was stolen from the tire store in the 500 block of such and such. Next, a 26-year-old man was arrested on an outstanding warrant in the 4,000 block of such and such avenue. Next, a 21-year-old woman was arrested for corporal injury and child endangerment in the 800 block of such and such. Next, a 49-year-old man was arrested for battering his spouse, causing a laceration on her head in the 100 block of such and such. Next, police report arresting 3 persons on suspicion of driving under the influence of a controlled substance and 8 persons on various drug charges. 2 were arrested for public intoxication. Terrible. Now, I miss doing the Sheriiff's Blotter. I haven't done it in such a long time, it seems like. Okay. Next, a 55-year-old man was arrested on an outstanding warrant in the front of his house in the 5,000 block of such and such. Next, a man, age 24, was arrested for domestic battery in the 800 block of such and such a street. Next, a 41-year-old man was arrested for starting a fire in the 2,000 block of such and such. Next, property valued at up to $1,000 was stolen from a locked car in the 1,600 block of such and such. Next, a man was arrested for possessing alcohol in the 100 block of the Main Street Boulevard. What? Possessing alcohol on the boulevard? What does that mean? Are you not allowed to possess alcohol? Like if you buy, that's just for the sake of discussion. Well, maybe there's more to the story that they left out. Maybe it was an open container of alcohol and he arrested for purchasing alcohol and walking with it in your grocery bag, right? That's crazy. Next, a 21-year-old man was arrested for stealing $25 worth of merchandise in the Main Street Boulevard. Well, I guess that's a place you don't want to be. Main Street Boulevard has had a lot of police activity recently. That's kind of odd. Main Street Boulevard has never had this many issues. Let's see. A man, age 30, was arrested for shooting a laser beam at an aircraft in the 100 block of such and such. Oh my goodness. Now that is terrible. That's cool that they could find the person who did it, but still, that's terrible. Okay. A thief shattered front window of a car in the 300 block of Scully, such and such. They stole a laptop and a cell phone. And a man, age 25, was arrested on 2 outstanding warrants in the 800 block of such and such. 21-year-old man. 21-year-old man was arrested. I lost my place. 21-year-old man was arrested for graffiti, vandalism, resisting arrest, battering, and injuring emergency personnel in the first block of such and such. Next, property value of up to $1,000 was stolen from the car in the 1600 block of the Main Street Boulevard. Oh my gosh, another Main Street Boulevard incident. A cell phone was stolen from a car in the 600 block of the Boulevard. So next, a cell phone was stolen in the 100 block of the Boulevard. Next, a woman, age 24, was arrested for battery in the 4,000 block of the Avenue. Next, a 34-year-old man was arrested for domestic violence, possessing large capacity magazines, and making criminal threats in the 500 block of such and such a street. Next, a part was stolen from a car in the 4,000 block of such and such. Next, more than $1,000 in property was stolen from a locked home, 2,000 block of such and such. Next, a woman, age 27, was arrested on 4 outstanding warrants in the 700 block of such and such. That's a lot of warrants. Next, a bike was stolen in the 600 block of such and such. Next, parts were stolen from a car in 1400 block of such and such. Next, property value $1,000 was stolen from an unlocked car in the 200 block of such and such. Next, a man, age 56, was arrested for illegal camping and storing his personal property behind the Moose Hall Family Center in 4,000 blocks. Oh my goodness. Next, a man stole 8 purses from Michael Kors outlet store. That's a lot of money. Isn't Michael Kors one of those fancy designer things? I think. Next, a 32-year-old man from China was arrested on 3 outstanding warrants and possessing drug paraphernalia. 300 block of such and such. Next, a man was arrested on outstanding warrant, 2,000 block of such and such. And police reported arresting 3 people on suspicion of driving under the influence of a controlled substance and 17 people on various drug charges. What is going on? Kind of like the same kind of reports in the Sheriiff Blotter, and I'm really grateful. Looking at in this county and the next county, they're not that awful. They're not really bad little police reports. I hate to think, how am I going to respond on the day? I've thought of this. On the day I'm sitting here and I read a horrible Sheriiff Blotter and I look to see what street it's on, and it's on my street. That'd be terrible. Okay, so moving on. Are you guys awake still? Let's see. That's fine. 9 burglars. Excuse me, I read that wrong. Burglars broke into a construction site in the 300 block of such and such. They vandalized the construction equipment, and they also used construction equipment to vandalize a storage container. Next, a 32-year-old woman was arrested for battery in the 500 block of such and such avenue. Next, a man, age 20, was arrested for brandishing a fake firearm at the intersection of such and such. Next, more than $1,000 in property was stolen from a locked vehicle in the 900 block of such and such. Next, more than $1,000 in property was stolen from a locked car in the 700 block of the Main Street Boulevard. And next, a 38. Some of these things are terrible. 38-year-old woman was arrested for assault and battery on 500 block of such and such. Next, a wall at the business center on the first block of such and such a road was vandalized and spray painted with graffiti, causing over $400 in damage. Next, a 33-year-old man was arrested for battery and injuring his spouse on the 1600 block of such and such a drive. Next, up to $1,000 in property was stolen from an unlocked car Next, a woman, age 33, was arrested for possessing metal knuckles. How do you know if someone has metal? Is that like brass knuckles from the mafia movies? A woman was arrested for possessing metal knuckles and stealing about $400 in merchandise from the pharmacy on Main Street Boulevard. So what did she do? Did she approach the window with the metal brass knuckles? Did she brandish the brass knuckle? That is hysterical. Or do they look in her purse after she got caught from stealing from the pharmacy? And then you're not allowed to have metal knuckles. That is too funny. I can't even imagine. Next, a physician assistant and security guard were battered on the 2000 block of such and such. Next, someone set a fire to a flood control channel at the intersection of such and such a road. Oh my goodness. This one's a little suspect. A physician assistant, so that's a doctor's assistant, and a security guard were battered. So it must have been like a medical building, I'm guessing. Someone tried to get in there. I don't know, that one sounds weird to me. Next, a 46-year-old man was arrested for possessing counterfeit money, ammunition, amphetamine, and heroin for purchase in the first block of such and such. Next, a school official was battered, beaten, and injured by a student during class at the such and such center. Next, a 30-year-old man was arrested on outstanding warrant for possessing paraphernalia and resisting a police officer in the 1600 block of such and such. More than $1,000 in property was stolen from a car in the 900 block of such and such a drive. Next, police reported that they arrested 3 persons driving without a license or driving on a suspended license, and 1 person on suspicion of driving under the influence of a controlled substance. And during that same time, 12 people were arrested on various drug charges, and 2 people were arrested for PI, meaning public intoxication. What is this world coming to? Well, this is like a little county. This is like a little county thing, so all in all, a county. There's a ton of cities in the county. There's like, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of cities in the county. So this little free newspaper comes. I guess for the whole county, that's not too bad, really. stole about $700 in merchandise from the factory on the Main Street Boulevard. Next, a 43-year-old man was arrested on an outstanding warrant and for resisting a police officer in the alley behind the 200 block of such and such a street. That's kind of spooky in the alley. Let's see. Parking lot at the park. A parking lot wall at the park was vandalized with graffiti, causing up to $400 in damages. Two people stole baby formula from the grocery store. 800 block of Arneo. 800 block of Anderson. Vandals slashed tires on at least 7 cars. 1300 block of the Avenue. Credit cards were stolen from a car. 900 block of such and such, and they were used to make fraudulent purchases at area clothing stores. A 33-year-old man was arrested for an outstanding warrant because of a domestic disturbance investigation. The intersection of such and such. A man, age 56, was arrested, outstanding warrant, 7,000 block of such and such. Police officers report of arresting 2 persons for driving without a license or on a suspended license. 3 people on suspicion of driving under the influence of a controlled substance, and during that time, 16 people were arrested, various drug charges. 1 person was arrested for, you guessed it, public intoxication. Man, age 56, arrested. 7,000 bucks. More outstanding warrants. Next, the Pizza Palace. The Pizza Palace, 5500 block, was vandalized with spray paint, causing over $400 in damage. Next, a 19-year-old man was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon after shooting a woman with a pellet gun, causing great bodily injury. Oh my goodness. Next, a 22-year-old man was arrested for burglary and possessing burglary tools in the 500 block of such and such. Next, property, including a credit card, was stolen from an unlocked vehicle on the 800 block of such and such a street, and then they tried to use the cards to make fraudulent purchases throughout LA counties Ventura County, and Santa Barbara counties. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of shopping. Next, more than $1,000 in merchandise was stolen from the Michael Kors shop on Main Street Boulevard. Next, an 18-year-old man was arrested for an outstanding warrant in the 500 block of such and such a street. Next, a juvenile male was cited and released for headbutting a school door. Breaking the window on the door and causing up to $500 in damage in the 5500 block of such and such. That must have hurt. That's terrible. Next, more than $1,000 in property was stolen from an unlocked utility trailer at the painting place on 4,000 block of such and such. Oh. Next, a burglar tried to break into the smoke shop in the 2200 block of such and such by driving by and trying to pry open the front door. Oh, no. Next, a 45-year-old man was arrested on several outstanding felony warrants at the intersection of such and such a street. Next, someone attempted to break into a locked home in the 4,000 block of such and such, causing damage to the door. Next, burglars forced their way into the locked and chained doors of the jewelry store in the 300 block of Main Street and stole over $1,000 worth of merchandise. A woman, age 40, was arrested for shoplifting at the mall and giving police false information, and also for an outstanding warrant. A 61-year-old man was arrested at the mall when it was discovered he had 2 outstanding warrants. Next, a woman, age 32, was arrested on outstanding warrants and for violating her probation order in 2200 block of citizens. And next we have the front tires and the rims were stolen off a car in a 600 block of such and such a street. I don't know about you, but I love this Sheriiff Blotter. Are you guys awake still? I probably have I bet I have 20 more minutes worth of. Let's see. 3 more. I bet I can. I wonder if I can make this video a whole hour. Are you guys awake still? I'm hoping everybody fell asleep right away. let's see. Police reported arresting 2 people. Police reported 2 people, arrested them for driving without license or on a suspended license, and 4 people on suspicion of driving under the influence of a controlled substance. During that same time period, 17 people were arrested on various drug charges, and 1 person was arrested for public intoxication. The window of a store in the 5,000 block of such and such a road was broken, causing more than $400 in damage, and about $1,500 in merchandise was stolen. Next, a 20-year-old male was cited for having an alcoholic beverage in his car without an adult who was 21 years or older at the boulevard, the intersection of the boulevard. Now, here's the question. So does that mean you cannot be in the car with an alcoholic beverage? Does that mean the beverage was opened? Or does that mean someone bought alcohol and put it in their shopping bag? I don't know. These alcohol things are not clear. I'll have to find out more. Because I would hate to leave purchased alcohol somewhere. If that's surely that can't be the law. They must mean opened alcohol. Next, up to $1,000 in merchandise was stolen from the kids' corner shop. 900 block of such and such. Next, a 19-year-old man was arrested on an outstanding warrant and for possessing a controlled substance and drug paraphernalia in the 2000 block of such and such a place. Next, a man, age 30, was arrested for disobeying a domestic relations court order in the 1000 block of such and such avenue. Next, we have an unknown persons used false ID identification to obtain prescription drugs from the pharmacy on the 200 block of such and such on the Main Street Boulevard. And next, a 21-year-old man was arrested for possessing a switchblade and marijuana in the first block of Camino such and such. Next, a man was arrested for felony vandalism at the burger joint parking lot on the Main Street Boulevard and in the 99 cents only store parking lot on the far side of town. Well, he got around all right. Next, the window of a car in the 300 block of such and such was broken, and debit cards and charge cards were stolen from that car, and they were used to make about $140 in fraudulent purchases in multiple locations in multiple counties. Next, a was stolen from 3 locked cars in the 4,000 block of the Main Street Boulevard. Next, up to $1,000 in property was stolen from 1 unlocked car in the 600 block of such and such. And next, a car on such and such a street was vandalized, causing more than $400 in damage. And next, another car was vandalized in the 7,000 block of such and such circle. Next, a 59-year-old man was arrested for injuring his wife in the 1,000 block of such and such lane. Next, a 36-year-old woman was arrested on outstanding warrants in the 2,000 block of such and such a street. Next, the rear window of a car was broken in the first block of such and such a road, causing more than $400 in damage. Next, a man, age 39, was arrested for injuring his spouse on the northbound freeway on-ramp. That's terrible. Next, 23-year-old man was arrested for identity theft and for being under the influence of and possessing a controlled substance in the first block of such and such a lane. Next, a man, age 32, was arrested for threatening to injure another person in the 5,000 block of such and such. Next, a 25-year-old woman was arrested on an outstanding warrant in the 2,000 block of such and such on the Main Street Boulevard. Next, a man, age 52, was arrested for elder abuse, illegally possessing a firearm, and being under the influence of and control and possessing a controlled substance in the 4,000 block of such and such. Next, we have up to $1,000 in property was stolen. From an unlocked car in the second block of such and such a street. Next, about $50, excuse me. About $50 in property was stolen from the health store center at the 7,000 block of such and such. Next, a flat screen TV and a Nintendo Wii console were stolen from the clubhouse at the village in the 7,000 block of such and such a way. And next, the property department at the 7,000 block of such and such a street was vandalized with graffiti, causing about $75 in damage. That was reported. Next, a man, age 52, was was cited for child abandonment after leaving his children unattended in the grocery supermarket on 400 block of such and such for over 45 minutes. And the children had no money and no way to contact him. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's spooky. Okay. Are you guys awake still? Okay. Well, let's see here. Moving right along. Mail was stolen from the engineering department at the 400 block of such and such. Next, property was stolen from the 3000 block of such and such sometime around 2 a.m. Next, about $300 in property was stolen from a building on the 800 block of such and such avenue. Next, up to $1,000 in merchandise was stolen from, oh my goodness, my favorite store, from Target. And the 5500 block on the Main Street Boulevard. How do you steal that much? Unless you just load up your shopping cart and zoom out the front door. That's crazy. Next, property was stolen from an unlocked car in the 3rd block of such and such a street. Next, a man, aged 35, was arrested for being under the influence of a controlled substance and for possessing drugs and drug paraphernalia, for shoplifting in a 400 block of such and such. And his female companion, age 38, was also arrested for shoplifting and possessing burglary tools and for being under the influence of a controlled substance. Next, a 33-year-old woman and a 31-year-old man were arrested for camping with a tent in a 400 block of such and such public place. Oh my goodness. So what do? Do they just, I don't know, they just pop up the tent in a parking lot? I don't get it. An unknown object was used to scratch and damage 2 cars, causing about $1,000 in damage in the 1st block of such and such. And next, a cell phone was stolen in the 400 block of such and such. Next, a wallet was stolen and reported missing in the 600 block of such and such. Next, a woman, age 27, was arrested for being under the influence of a controlled substance and for possessing a smoking device and from a firearm in her purse. And the 1300 block of such and such. Next, a 39-year-old man was arrested for shoplifting, for being under the influence of a controlled substance, and for possessing drug paraphernalia at the intersection of such and such. Next, about $200 in merchandise was stolen from the Vaughn's Pavilion grocery store in the 2000 block of such and such off of Main Street Boulevard. Next, an apartment building in the 200 block of such and such was vandalized with graffiti, causing $400 damage. Next, merchandise stolen from the cigar smoke shop, 2000 block of such and such. Next, up to $1,000 in merchandise was stolen from the pharmacy after hours. Next, a man, aged 31, was arrested for taking a company vehicle for non-work purposes on a 400 block of the boulevard. Next, a 31-year-old woman was arrested on an outstanding warrant on the 2000 block of such and such a street. Next, a 16-year-old man, an 18-year-old man was cited for carrying a switchblade knife in a 2000 block of such and such a lane, and his 18-year-old male companion was also arrested for possessing an explosive in his pocket. Next, we have a man, age 22, was arrested on an outstanding warrant on a 200 block of such and such a street. Next, a 37-year-old man was arrested on an outstanding warrant in the 1600 block of such and such. Next, property was stolen from the unlocked car in the 400 block on such and such a road. Next, a woman, age 28, was arrested for domestic battery and for being under the influence on 2 local warrants in the first block of such and such a street. Next, someone removed a window screen at a home in the 800 block of such and such in an attempt to break in and steal belongings. Next, about $100 in property was stolen from an unlocked car on the 2200 block of such and such apartment. Next, a 48-year-old man was arrested on 3 outstanding warrants at the intersections of such and such road. Next, a 31-year-old man was arrested on 2 outstanding warrants on the 3000 block of such and such. And police reported arresting 7 people on suspicion of driving under the influence of a controlled substance, and 16 people on various drug charges. 3 people were arrested for being drunk in public. must have been fun. Someone sold a bicycle in the 400 block of such and such. And next, the rear window of a car was broken, causing $1,000 in damage in the 400 block of such and such. Next, a 34-year-old man was arrested for battery and false imprisonment at the Boulevard Center Drive. Next, a car was stolen in the 2000 block of such and such. Next, a 20-year-old was arrested for shoplifting in the 300 block of such and such. Next, more than $1,000 in property was snatched from a locked gym locker in the 300 block of such and such. Next, a 24-year-old man was arrested for entering a home in the second block of such and such with an intent to commit larceny. I haven't heard that in a long time, larceny. Next, a man aged 34 was arrested for driving under the influence of a controlled substance and for child endangerment at the intersection of such and such. Next, a 19-year-old man was arrested for conspiring to commit a crime and grand theft in the 300 block of such and such, and his 18-year-old female companion was also arrested for conspiring to commit a crime and possessing stolen merchandise on her person. Next, a man aged 20 was arrested for possessing a baton at the intersection of such and such. A woman, age 32, was arrested on an outstanding warrant and resisting arrest in the 3000 block of such and such. A 19-year-old woman was arrested for domestic violence resulting in physical injury in the 4000 block of such and such. Police report arresting 3 people on suspicion of driving under the influence of a controlled substance and 13 people on various drug charges during that same time period. 1 person was arrested for public intoxication. Oh my goodness.